As a football fan, we are the most loyal part of the game. We irrationally support our club through thick, through thin, through good players, bad players. We turn up, we sing the songs, we create the atmosphere. And it doesn't matter how irrational it might be, we stick with it regardless. Now, a football player sees it as his job. So he doesn't really have a loyalty to a club because he could go and play anywhere and take the money from somewhere else. They might tap the badge and all the rest of it, and you've got to love that while they're there. And there are obviously some players that really, will stick with a club, but that's becoming rarer and rarer, The owners of the football club, what they care about is their brand, their investment. Football authorities, they care about the future and the growing of the sport that they control and the income that provides. The TV companies, they care about the consumer and how they can sell it to everybody else and grow the product. So where that leaves me is that there is no real loyalty in football outside of the fan. So I've got to be honest, as much as it pains me to say it, I would not be surprised if Maurizio Pochettino left and went on to join Man United. Now, I don't want that to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me, So a lot really depends on Maurizio Pochettino and where his viewpoint is of where he is in his overall career and his overall ambitions. I'm old enough to remember that Manchester United, whilst always being a brand, were not always the biggest club in England. At the time when I was growing up, it was mainly Liverpool. Liverpool were the ones that seemed to win everything. And so they were seen as the team. Now, Manchester United, up until the Ferguson years, were kind of almost an also ran team. No one really feared them or wanted to be them or anything like that. So every team kind of has its time and has its moment. So whilst all the pundits and all the media will tell you that Maurizio Pochettino needs to go to Manchester United and he wants to go to Manchester United and all this kind of stuff, that's not necessarily the case. Because let's face it, when you think about Tottenham and you think about the legends of Tottenham in terms of managers and stuff, we all straight away would go back to Bill Nicholson. Some maybe to Keith Birkinshaw, who did great things at Tottenham, but generally speaking, when you're talking about legendary status, you're talking about Bill Nicholson. You talk about the scum down the road, and in time, I think you'll come to find that Arsene Wenger will be known as a legend of Arsenal, if not already. But you think about things like Herbert Chapman. So coming on to Liverpool, then you're thinking about Bill Shankly, Kenny Dalglish, and these guys that run that club through their most successful period. And with Manchester United, you think of Ferguson. So where they are now, in terms of overall standing in the football world, yeah, okay, they're still somewhere up there. But a lot of that is media-based, more about, the media pushing that narrative of them being the great club that they are and all the rest of it, and the big crowds and blah, blah, blah. But if you was Maurizio Pochettino and you're sitting there now looking at the option between Manchester United where they are, Tottenham when they are, we have a new stadium that we will be in at some point very, very soon. We can all see that. I've shared loads of photos and stuff, and as much as everyone's trying to tell us that it won't be ready and there's loads and loads and loads to still to do, judging by the photos and the videos that I've seen, I would doubt that. I would question that. So if you're Maurizio Pochettino, and it's taken you 5 years to build a team into the image that it is currently, with the players that you've got currently, and the ethos and the team attitude that we've got currently. If you was Maurizio Pochettino, would you be thinking to yourself, yeah, okay, I'll go to Man United and I'll do all that there? Are they prepared to wait 5 years? Another 5 years? Fans can be fickle. Owners can be more fickle. The media, just as fickle. So they've gone for the quick fix in time with Mourinho and Louis van Gaal, that kind of stuff. And it hasn't worked for them. So I'm told they've got loads of really good young players to come through, as I guess a fair few clubs have. So maybe there is an opportunity there for him to do some of this stuff that he's done at Tottenham. But just giving Maurizio Pochettino, umpteen millions of pounds is not necessarily going to buy him success there. Once the new stadium is open, I honestly feel that we will have a far better structure and a far better core than a lot of clubs out there. At this moment in time, everything's all about Liverpool and Manchester City winning the league and all the rest of it. We're nowhere to be seen, even though we're sitting in second. That's a great feat, to be in second place, given everything that we've gone through at the moment. It is massive. Do I think we're going to win the league? Probably not. But it doesn't mean to say I'm not going to enjoy the ride and hope and pray that we do get there and do something magical. And every team goes through a bit of a slump. Just look at Man City at the moment. So, I think, Liverpool, maybe their time will come. Normally after Christmas they struggle. And normally after Christmas we excel. So playing dirty and rough and shit and all that and getting to where we are, for me, is great news. That's exactly what we wanted. Playing ugly and getting a result, lucky results, whatever you want to do. I'd much rather have those lucky results and now start seeing us play some decent football as it's coming together. So I honestly feel that Tottenham are on the brink of going to that next level. And if you was Pochettino, surely you'd be thinking to yourself, well, I've got this team this far. What can I really do? You can see the bond between all of the players now, and you can see the players coming through one at a time and make it up. Kyle Walker-Peters is now, picking up a couple of games, and you've got Oliver Skipp now starting to pick up a couple of games. Troy Parrott has been talked about a little bit coming in. So, Tottenham's ethos has never been around spending loads and loads of money, and those fans that are calling for that, you're gonna be sad, because that's not going to happen. Levy is not going to spend the money that these big clubs, or say big clubs that have got money, really want to spend. They price us out or whatever. So the energy needs to be put into building an infrastructure that's going to keep providing new players. And surely that's got to be the right way. That's got to be the future. It can't be sustained. The hundreds of millions of pounds being paid for an individual. That can't keep going on the way it does. Although, as I say, nothing really surprises me. But I honestly think with Pochettino, the way he speaks, the way he comes across, the way he interacts with the players, I feel that he's signed his 5-year contract. He's 4.5 years in. He must have his eye on if I can do something with Tottenham, I could be the next legendary manager for Tottenham. If he goes to Manchester United, wins the league, wins a couple of cups, that kind of stuff, he's never going to be the legend as Ferguson is. That's not going to happen because they've got a legend in the 20th century. They don't need another one. You know, ours is from the 60s, you know. So he has a greater opportunity to actually become a legend of a club and make that club in his image at Tottenham than he has trying to do that elsewhere, whether that be Man United, Real Madrid or whatever. But it's interesting to me that for someone that he keeps being told he's not really done anything, he's not really won anything, I mean, talk shit and all that. Adrian Durham sits there and, you know, yeah, Mauricio Pochettino, what's he done? So what? And all the rest of it. And now trying to move him on to Manchester United because it fits the narrative. But the reality is, loyalty only sits with us as a fan. But we can keep pushing and pushing our club forward with our support. If you look at what's happened to Moussa Sissoko, for instance, clearly Pochettino is getting something out of him. Add to that the support that the player is now getting from the supporters. I mean, I saw an interview with him where he was clearly saying that that's important to him. He needs to feel the love. And I think that's fantastic. I mean, to see him go to the crowd and throw his shirt in and someone want it, as opposed to throwing it back at him, which is what would have happened not that long ago, is fantastic. And that shows what we bring as fans to it, because we are, as I say, the loyal ones. So that's my take on it, I guess. Pochettino has an opportunity now to really become a legend of Tottenham by winning something. Now, he's setting his sights on the Premier League, he's setting his sights on the Champions League. Great. You know, we want to be up there doing those kind of things. But at the same time, we as fans want silverware. Just being in the top four doesn't make you a great team. That's what happened to them down the road. And we all just went, oh yeah, top four trophy, la la la. I don't want that as a fan. Players don't want that. Jermaine Defoe this week was over the moon with his League Cup medal, which he got 10 years later. He's over the moon with that. Because that's silverware. That's recognition of winning something. So just being in the top four isn't enough. Being in the top four and winning trophies, whether it be the League Cup, the FA Cup or whatever, has to be in there somewhere, because that's what attracts players, not just the chance of playing in the Champions League, as much as Sky would like you to believe that. I don't believe that. I believe players want to play for great managers in great teams that win stuff and compete and play in the style that they enjoy and they feel the love. And that's what we've got to do. Keep giving them the love. The last game where the fans were singing, instead of singing He's Magic, you know, they're singing He's Tottenham, you know. That will get across, that will resonate with the manager. He will feel that love. And I hope that in his psyche, he's thinking about that element of it, rather than just the quick fix of trying to win something and having loads of money thrust upon him. I don't believe that there is a bad relationship between him and Levy. I believe there is a good relationship there. I believe that he totally understands where we are and what we're getting. And I honestly believe that they've got a planned future. None of us were thinking that we could be up there winning the league this year. We all felt that we would struggled to get in the top four because we were going to a new stadium, or then we weren't going to a new stadium, or Wembley was going to be a problem, and blah, 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 blah. But here we are. Let's just enjoy the ride. Let's see what happens. And let's support the team as loyal as we are. And if the unthinkable happens and our manager leaves, the club will still go on. Many managers have come, many managers have gone, many players have come, many players have gone. The one thing that's been constant is the supporters. And without over-egging it, the supporters are what make the club, regardless of what the owner will say, or the football association will say, or the governing bodies will say, or the media will say. It's the fans that make the club. It's the fans that own it. We have that loyalty. So it's up to us to ensure that we keep that going for the long run. Up the Spurs.